I'm going to talk about the most diabolical woman in history who's been dubbed as the Devil Woman or the Devil Woman of Michigan. Now, what she did was so heinous that she actually got her own episode in the true crime show Snapped. And for us to understand what actually happened, we have to go back to the very beginning. This is Kelly and Jason Cochran. They were high school sweethearts who also lived right next door to each other. They were so enamored with each other that they actually got married after Kelly graduated from high school back in 2002. But on their wedding night, they had made a pact with each other, whereas if they cheat on each other, they had the right to take the lover's life. For the next 10 years, Jason had worked for a swimming pool service company until his back had gave out, and where Kelly actually became a major breadwinner in the household, but then due to piling debt, they had to move to Caspian, Michigan. Jason was looking forward to the move just because of the fact that Michigan actually legalized THC and actually would help with his chronic back issues. So in 2013, Kelly actually met this man, Christopher Reagan, while he was working at a factory job that would manufacture naval ship parts. Christopher was an Air Force veteran and a Detroit native, and him and Kelly actually created a bond and became lovers shortly afterwards, despite the 20 years age difference between the two. Even though Kelly was married, Christopher was actually in a relationship with this woman here, Terry O'Donnell. So fast forward to October 13th, 2014, Kelly's husband Jason actually found out about the affair and became outraged by what actually happened. So Jason told his wife that for her to make it up to him, she had to do what they actually agreed upon on their wedding night. So Jason convinced Kelly to lure Chris over so that way he could have some extracurricular activities, as well as the fact that he just wanted to get rid of the problem as well too. So on October 14th, 2014, Chris had went over to Kelly's house for some little extra fun, but not knowing that Jason was actually in the next room waiting for him to be there. And about halfway through the session, that's when Jason actually walked behind him with a .22 rifle and shot him point blank in the head. And so after Jason took his life, Kelly went ahead and handed him a buzzsaw where they went ahead and dismembered him inside the house. Now once they dismembered him, they went ahead and dumped his body in the woods as well as parked his car outside of town. Now 10 days after the incident, that's when he was actually reported missing by his girlfriend Terry, who said that she hasn't heard nor seen of him ever since he left. Now during the police investigation, they found Chris' car located outside of town, and during a search of his vehicle, they found a post-it note that had the address of Jason and Kelly on it, who became their prime suspect after that. When police arrived at the residence, they stated that both Jason and Kelly were actually at ease when they came and questioned them, but then shortly after they became very uncomfortable. Seeing how they became uncomfortable, the police decided to question them separately, and during Kelly's questioning, she admitted that she was having an affair with Chris, and that her and her husband Jason were in an open relationship. But during Jason's interview, he actually was irritated the fact that she was actually having an affair. But due to lack of evidence, the police could not arrest him nor charge him with the crime, and so they let him go. Unbeknownst to them that throughout the 10 days that Chris has been missing, they actually did a major cleanup so that way there was no trace of him even being at the house. Due to lack of evidence, the case became a cold case, and where the FBI actually got involved and did a search of Kelly and Jason's home, which prompted them to move to Hobart, Indiana in March of 2015. On February 20, 2016, tragedy would strike again when EMTs were called to the Cochran residence, where they actually found Jason unresponsive due to a drug overdose, and Kelly was actually hindering their ability to revive him. After the death of her husband, Kelly actually fled Indiana, all because the medical examiner actually found out that Jason didn't die from a drug overdose, he actually died from asphyxiation. Because they come to find out that even though he overdosed, Kelly actually smothered him just to be sure that he was actually gone. Now because she left without telling anybody, they actually was going to charge her with murder, conspiracy, home invasion, mutilation, as well as a few other charges as well too. Now while this one was on the run from police, she was actually texting investigators by trying to throw them off by saying she was over on the West Coast, not realizing they was tracking her location, finding out she was actually in Kentucky the whole entire time. After she was arrested, they went ahead and interviewed her to see if they can get more information out of her, where she just came clean about everything, including where they can find the body of Chris Reagan at. And during her trial, she actually admitted that she actually contemplated about killing Jason because she was so in love with Chris that she actually wanted to start a life with him. And she also stated the reason why she even told Jason about Chris was because she was mad at the fact Chris didn't want a relationship with her. So Kelly felt that Jason had took the one good thing away from her, and so she took her husband's life out of revenge. As of right now, Kelly is currently sitting life in prison for the death of Christopher Reagan, as well as doing an additional 65 years for the death of her husband. So for more stories like these, go ahead and leave a comment down below.